Hey, it's the Filbert again. This battle was just a 1v1. There are no key buildings involved. Uh, I brought a pure rush army. I like mixing up every once in a while. Usually I don't bring pure rush, but it can be very successful if done right and you're going against the right type of army. At the same time, there are ways to counter the rush. Mainly, probably matchlocks is one of the biggest. Or I've actually been countered. Usually when I do bring a rush army, I'm going to bring a mix of spears and stuff too. I've actually played players who've done a rush army but went almost all spears, and so they had a pretty good advantage on me. But since I'm doing a rush army, he doesn't have anything too scary, so I'm marching slow. There's no key buildings, not really any advantage to getting closer to the middle or anything. So I have some yard cav on my left flank. My right flank is mostly light cav. Well, 3 light cav and then my general. I'm going to hide in the woods, protect from his arrows. His bow cav are basically one of the biggest problems for me right now because they can just peck away. So I'm going to try and outflank him and hit him. So I'm going to pull some light cav down into the woods over here and pull another group in between. And at the same time, I see this katana samurai, but they have their back turned, and he's not doing anything, repositioning them or anything. He sees my light cav and is firing at them. So now I'm going to charge up at him. I'll take an uphill charge against bow cav. And I'm watching this, and I see he does nothing, doesn't counter charge, doesn't move. So I'm going to get a good charge in the back and look at that. 6 kills, 7 kills. And most of my losses were from the bow cav. So he pulls off. I do run into some spears, but I'm going to pull back. I think my general's in there. He doesn't lose anything to spears. And these are, nothing too mean. I hit them pretty hard. And at this point, I know there's not much he can do. I run all my yard cav in hard to his avatar. I'm trying to hit his bow cav, and I got my swords already on his bows. So after I know I take out his right flank, I can fall real heavy on his left. And meanwhile, over here, he did send in some Nodachi, and he just lost the power bar really quick, and that's just going to be the loss for him. That general did a huge morale drop for him. I was not expecting it actually to end that quick. I thought it would last a little bit longer.
I've never played an APV before.
His biggest problem was when he seen me bring that rush army, especially when he knew I wasn't going to stop. He should have backed up on his hill a bit. I had no range or skirmish ability. So if you come across an army like that, get into a spot where you can use it as your advantage. You should have just put spears in front, and his archers could have pecked away at me a lot more. He had a hill advantage, especially on that map. He also should have moved his katana samurai. I'm not sure why he didn't, because he knew that light cav was coming, because he had his bow cav aim at them and fire at them, but he must have just not been paying attention. So my units, no one did too crazy. They're all about well, not mediocre, but good kills. And a lot of his are pretty low, especially with the high loss rate. Like, 83 losses for 8 kills. You don't want numbers like that. But at the same time, his men routed so quick. Look at that. 6 losses. He had another katana cav that apparently had no losses. I'll get another battle in on this video too. Oh, don't want to go there. This is just a 3v3 that I did with a buddy of mine, Blue, that I think he's already been in a couple battles. I think I've talked about him before. Uh, this battle did have key buildings. The one player in our team, Walker, he did seem like a new player. He was only like 2 or 3 star, and I know he is asking a couple times in chat like where to go, what to do, and he was going. Me and Walker both had traditional army avatars. Blue had Fall of the Samurai, and Walker was going up against Fall of the Samurai army, and he was pretty worried at first, not knowing what to do because they were mostly line infantry, and he had a good mix of bows and swords. So, and that's one way to know he's new. He has no spears, which is usually a big risk, but luckily his player doesn't have very much cav. I think only his general. So I actually brought Rush Army to this too. Pure Rush. But look what my opponent brought. He has a Pure Rush Army too, and it is all swords with with a lot of sword cav. So I know my cav are a big disadvantage. I have Katana, 3 light, and my avatar. So I'm not going to win a strap cav battle. I know most likely I'm not going to win a strap melee, since I have 1, 2, well only 2, but I also have 2 sword attendants as some of my units. The rest are, I have 2 Nodachi and 3 Katana. So I don't want to go straight up. He does have some sword attendants too, but it's a little bit scary to me. At the same time, he does have Nodachi, and they have very little armor. I think it's 3 or 4 without any buffs. So, and I'm playing a retainer. It takes 2 away from enemy swords. So I know if I can get a longer battle, melee fight in, armor seems to help in longer battles against swords. I'm using my spears to keep him from rushing, which he is gonna. So I'm gladly gonna take that charge with spears. So I'm matching up all my guys and bringing my other spears over to support, sending my cabin, because now he's not getting that charge, and I am, since I caught him up. And I sent my general around the side, since he is melee general. I know he's going to do successful. I knocked down, I think, sword attendants pretty quick. And if you bring sword attendants, they're for meat shields or flanking. You don't want them to hold your flank, because how he just, or they were lone sword. But you don't want weak units on your flank, because then I can start wrapping around, and I just destroy his horses. He didn't pull them out. This unit's taken 20 losses. I've taken out almost all of his cav, and I pulled my cav out to charge this cav. I have some spearmen over here, and he's gonna only get 1 out and knock his general out of the battle, and now he is in a very bad spot. His whole army's gone. I send, I think, my general up here, and he gets killed. Yeah, he's right there. He's down to only 3 units, and I lose him. Meanwhile, I'll put this in slow motion. He's getting his line infantry all in position. This player was asking for help. I was trying to help him, let him know, break line of sight, your bows are going to have longer range. Don't be too worried. And it looked like he was getting some good kills. Yep, my general just fell. And nothing really goes on over here now. He does manage to get the rest of these cav out, and I start coming over here, getting in the force to support this guy. But he's going to get some good charges off. This player marched way too far in. A lot of these guys don't have line of sight. So he was able to bait him pretty good, and he's going to get good charge. Then we have Blue. Blue's about to take the dojo. This player's been playing, it looks like, fairly conservative. He hasn't moved too far in. I'm sure he has more guys
He
in the
was landing
woods.
himself in the core.
Alright, so go back to normal speed. So those guys got hit pretty hard. I think he lost his general, or no, his general's back there. So I thought he sent Captain, but so these guys get hit real hard. I'm surprised you're routing that quick. And then he's gonna send his swords in because they aren't gonna get set up very quick. He's gonna get some good charges on and really push this guy back. I'm trying to rush to help. Meanwhile, I'm, making sure nothing too bad happens to me. But at this point, I know he's won the battle. He's taken some heavy hits, but these guys are about to get outflanked. He's just getting cut down. This player just did not set up quick enough. So I'm just getting set up in the woods. I'm looking at charging in the back of these units, but at the same time, I'm like, I see his general and these guys, so I don't want to take too much unnecessary risk, but I see a chance to hit his general, and that's what I'm going to do. It's just light cav and katana cav, but I do have a charge bonus, I believe. Well, they aren't my veterans, so those ones don't. But I get a good charge bonus to him on the flank, and he's going to send some swords in to help. Those guys are caught up now. Both of these guys are knocked down. This group is knocked down pretty low. And his bows are going to massacre them before they can get in range. And they're marching slow. They're not even running. He's getting this.
Man.
Alright, I had someone come in my room. So I had to take a quick break, but I forgot where I was at. I think I was talking about, I'm sending guys around both flanks because I know I'm going to be able to hit them now. The sound, I think, or no, sound came back. I know sound glitches out sometimes. So I'm sending my cav and just running in before they can get lined up, and they're going to get cut down pretty quick. So now this player's out. You have their other players sending in. He probably shouldn't have been doing this because there's so many bows. Yeah, he's gonna probably knock out this group of katana samurai, but it's probably not worth it. He's gonna lose his, Yari cav, and they're upgraded too. So that's probably like $1,000 unit that you're kind of throwing away to take out. What's that? A $750 unit, which is actually going to remain in the back. It's pretty short on numbers now. So I'm trying to capture the dojos. I send one of my light cav back to capture this one. I have that one capturing this one. Blue's still on his own. He's taking some cannon fire, but this player still has not pushed up at all. He's been sticking back way too far, and now I'm pretty beat up. Our middle ally isn't too bad. I mean, his bows are still pretty much untouched, I think. And Blue, I don't think has taken too many hits. Like, he's focusing his Blue's cannons, and I don't know, his cannons don't even have that good line of sight. I don't know, I want to focus them really. So I'm going to take that dojo, take this dojo. He should have stopped and taken the shrine. I mean, this point really doesn't matter, because if you look at the power bar and just the numbers, yeah, they're going to get overran. So I'll just speed it up now. So now he's going to start marching forward. He has a lot of riflemen, which is... The one group came to the battle pretty hurt. But, these are expensive units, especially when they're upgraded. I think they're 1,300 without any upgrades. And he has he has some spears. Like, I'm not sure if... I don't think they engage. I don't see any bodies or anything. Blue's going to try flanking the side. He's going to get hit just barely. So he falls back in the woods, but you can see blue has a pretty good force. He's marching some hidden katanas up. And meanwhile, I'm running up, me and Walker getting in this ridge lining these woods. They're going to give us some extra defense, give us uphill advantage. And I see him mainly focusing on Walker at this point. So I'm really going to push around the back. The player I was going up against T, all he has is Cav left, and he's going to charge them in and try and take out these riflemen. I want to try to give my guys a little rest. I'm bringing my Cav up now to try and capture the shrine. I mean, really at this point it doesn't matter, but who knows? You never know when something horrible is going to happen. It appears his cannons are out of ammo or retreating. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, they must be out of ammo because he ran them up here. So he did rout those riflemen. He takes off, and he's charging his swords up. Has rifles lined up, but I'm going to come around behind. I don't want to come over this ridge where he has line of sight yet. My opponent engages with his swords. I engage with some of mine. My guys are pretty low morale since they took such heavy losses, but I'm going to come in right behind him. These guys won't get a chance. His general's right here. I'm going to get rear charging him. Get a charge on his rifles. And this is just an instance of your two allies lost. So he was just not in a position to do much. No matter what this player was going to do, he was going to get outflanked. We just had too many numbers. But he tried to get in decent position, try to bring the attack to us. And we can watch as the rest of the battle is his units getting mopped up. Pretty ruthless. These guys want nothing to do but get away. Alright, we'll check some of the unit stats. So that's 3v3s are usually more just fun goofing around, but you always want to try supporting your allies, or if you know you're outmatched, like the player going up against just has an army that counters yours, before the battles get started, go support someone else or have someone support you, 2v1 someone, force someone to move. I think and I'm not really sure because no one was really outmatched. I mean, look at that. Blue had very little kill. He didn't have too many deaths, but a lot of it was he didn't engage until the end, and a lot of these deaths I think are from the cannons. And like he got charged with a katana at the end and stuff. But yeah, those yard cav are probably the same ones that he charged into early game. And I mean, this goes without saying, you never charge into cav into spears unless you're desperate, or the morale shock will rout them, or your general has the ability where spears don't hurt him, don't counter him. So most of my units did very well. They all were very good in kills for the most part. Like sword attendants, yeah. I don't expect them to get many kills, but they didn't even get that many losses. Even my light cav did good. My light cav I usually bring, I'm looking to either go after skirmishers, bows, or matchlocks, or they're meant to take the brunt of a charge and have like my general and yard cav come in behind or come in at the flanks to get their charge off without taking the losses. Plus they're good late game. If you have a cav advantage, you get, even if they're just light cav behind them, it forces them to turn units towards them, or if they don't, light cav are still going to have a good charge in the back. And I like bringing a couple. This battle, I think I had all vanilla, or I had two that were upgraded. I usually like upgrading the charge on them and maybe attack or something, but I usually don't get them past like 500 cost, 550, because I want to keep them cheap. My opponent, you see some of his Nodachi Samurai did very good, but he was able to just get outflanked, and morale, I think, buckled on him eventually. And this was the player in the middle on the enemy team, and a couple of his units got good kills, but yeah, he just got massacred. Look at that. Some of these units had 0 kills or less than 10, took almost full losses. But that is that battle. I hope you enjoyed them, and I'll try and upload another one or two before the weekend.